Follow-up for you, Mr. Nader, on that point. On the state level, those of us here who have, there's been a big debate, definitely in Missouri, and I think probably in others, I'm sure in other states as well, is this issue, the specific issue of tax credits. Tax credits. Yeah. Now, that's a big issue. There's a lot of different tax credits. I think in Missouri we have 57 programs, and some people don't like any of them. Some people like some of them. Some people like all of them. Some people can make a case for why you should have one or the other. There's a difference between benevolent tax credits for charitable uses and the economic ones. Talk about tax credits. Do you despise all of them? Do you think some of them have uses? Is there ever a place for them?
Well, tax credits are pushed through, often secretly, with inadequate public hearings in Washington by corporate lobbyists. They swarm all over Capitol Hill. And this is an area that is very complex, and by the way, there's a corporate tax lawyer who taught the first course on taxation in a college in the country, in Mount Holyoke, and now he's teaching high school students. He said, how can students go to school without learning about taxation? And he says the high school students get it. Don't say it's too complex. Anyway, on these credits, there are two types. One is where you get a credit for all business, let's say. It's uniform. The bigger types of tax credits and tax expenditures, loopholes, as they're called, tax breaks, are to whoever has more influence in Washington. Like General Electric has far more tax loopholes than an ordinary company with 1,000 workers in Missouri. Now, I think Grover thinks that uniform tax breaks are good because it reduces taxation. I don't know where he is on discriminatory tax breaks, but I know one thing, that it is draining the tax base. When you said that entitlements, et cetera, are the biggest part of the budget, how many buildings in St. Louis and other places, big buildings that are tax abated, or they pay only a small share? New York City is full of them. Chicago is full of them. They're not labeled, though. But if they don't pay, say, $200,000 in property tax, you own a home here, you pay, you don't get an abatement. So either you're going to pay more or get less government service, less roads paved or whatever, or you're going to get rid of their abatements, and so you have a more uniform tax system. This is where the yuck factor comes in. One of the things that keeps left-right from converging is that our side has a yuck factor and the conservatives have a yuck factor. By the way, we're both up against corporate Republicans and corporate Democrats. That's who we're up against. And the yuck factor is, I'm going to work with Grover Norquist. He wants to get rid of all taxes. I mean, who's going to pay for all the public services and all the things that we can't do for ourselves? And Grover would say, you know, I'm not going to speak for Grover, but someone else would say, I don't want to work with a liberal. That liberal is for abortion. That liberal is for school prayer. Well, here's my approach. We're going to disagree on A, B, C, D. If we agree on W, X, Y, Z, and we're an unstoppable majority, and we can transform the country for the better, and we can change these crazy political alignments for the better, for the future, for posterity, we've got to do it. It's a moral obligation.
Grover, I know you had a point to make on this issue of tax credits. It's a huge, complex issue, as Ralph points out. So what say you?
Well, two things. When you can reduce rates and broaden the base, as Reagan did in '86, that tends to be better for the economy than having tax credits or even deductions. There is a bill that I am very happy with, Pompeo has from Kansas, that gets rid of all targeted tax credits in the energy industry, and reduces rates for all companies like by half a point or something, whatever, a point, whatever it adds up to. It's revenue neutral, doesn't raise taxes or reduce taxes, but it gets rid of all of the targeted tax credits. I think that's a good model.